Chris Jericho and Tommaso Ciampa, they aren't having a wrestling match anymore. They're trying to erase each other from existence. And I'm here to talk about it on this episode of The Crimson Mask Show. No holds barred, no holds barred, no holds barred. Tommaso Ciampa, Psycho Killer, Chris Jericho, Painmaker. That match should be absolutely brutal. I want to see blood. I want to see guts. And honestly, thank God. Thank God that they're going to have this match because now I have a reason to look forward to AEW Redemption. Because honestly, I'll be completely honest, at this point, they're just throwing shit together. That like Redemption is plagued by the usual bad Tony Khan booking. They're just throwing shit together. So once again, thank God that I have a match to look forward to, like the Painmaker versus the Psycho Killer. They're just throwing shit against the wall at this point for these other matches, but this one actually has a storyline that is following. And now we're going to get the big payoff for a brutal no-holds-barred match. Who do I think should win that match? Tommaso Ciampa. I think Tommaso Ciampa should win that match. Yeah, I get it. I understand the Painmaker. But it's more important to me, in my opinion, to continue to establish Tommaso Ciampa as a legitimate threat because I feel like Tommaso Ciampa is the type of guy that should eventually be able to hold the AEW title. And in order for him to do that, he has to beat a former AEW champion like Chris Jericho in a high-stake match that's just going to be violent and psychologically damaging. I can't think of any other word to go about it. But this match is what's going to save Redemption. Because again, I don't understand the rhyme or reason to a lot of the other things that are being booked for Redemption, like a random Death Riders versus Young Bucks match. Don't understand it. I mean, if I squint my eyes, I could understand it. Like, maybe something happens where Will Ospreay has to cross a line and hurt Matt and Nick Jackson. And it's going to make his and Kenny's match more personal. But then on the flip side of that, that's going to lead me to my next problem I'm going to talk about in my next segment. There's a whole nother match in between Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay meeting at All In. So again, the booking decisions continue to bewilder me. And I don't know what else to say about it. I just know that I'm looking forward to this fucking Tommaso Ciampa Chris Jericho match. Right now, if I had to pick a match that's going to be the reason that I tune into Redemption, it's going to be that match. I think both of those guys are amazing. Chris Jericho, I switch in between wanting him to go away and wanting him to stay. I've been a big Chris Jericho fan all my life, but I want Tommaso Ciampa to win this one. I think it's the best for future booking decisions, and I just think it's going to be a fucking brutal match. So I'm looking forward to that. Speaking of Redemption, let's dive back into it. Kenny Omega, Kevin Knight. Make no secret, I'm a huge Kevin Knight fan. That's why I kind of have an issue with us all knowing that the end game is Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay at All In. And Kevin Knight is just going to have to be the sacrificial pawn to Kenny on the road to All In. I don't like it. They could have done anything. They could have put Kevin Knight is beefing with like 10 people right now. They could have put any of those people against Kevin Knight for the TNT title at Redemption. They could have did that. But instead, he's going to be a sacrificial pawn to Kenny Omega. He could have been the first challenger for Kenny or Will after All In. They could have even done that. But, bad booking decisions. And then touch briefly again on the random Death Riders Young Bucks match. Like, I guess that's the route you can go. But Will Ospreay is going to have to hurt the Young Bucks or stand by while the Death Riders hurt the Young Bucks, if that's the goal, to make it, more personal between Kenny and Will Ospreay. But again, I just don't understand having to sacrifice Kevin Knight in the process of doing that. And I feel like AEW does that a lot. AEW does that shit a lot. I was just watching Collision and they did this shit again. AEW loves to book a match for a pay-per-view down the road, but then have the person defend the title before that pay-per-view, and they telegraph who's going to win that match in between before it gets to that. Like, I hate that shit. I hate when AEW does that shit. I hate it. And WWE probably does that shit too, but it's rampant in AEW. Like, they constantly do that shit. Constantly. Like, please stop doing that. Please. Or at least cut back on it or something. They do the shit like once a week. So again, Kevin Knight, sacrificial pawn to Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay's match at All In. Don't know why they're doing it. Kevin Knight is on a hot streak. Sucks that he's going to have to hit a roadblock during his hot streak just to further boost up Kenny Omega, who doesn't need to be boosted because he's already like a legendary wrestler at this point. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. So I implore you, leave it in the comments if you have an alternate opinion to that, but the shit don't make too much sense to me. Clown Corner this week for AEW. It can't be anything other than Darby Allin constantly trying to unalive himself on live television. It can't be anything else. Now, I get it. Darby Allin, he's a risk taker, he's going to go out on his own sword. I get the Darby Allin experience. But sometimes some shit is just too far. I'm not trying to see this dude go out on TV. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let's take a look at it. Head comes clean off, concussion, whatever you want to call it. Some shit is just too much. If Darby Allin wants to jump off of something and jump through a pane of glass, fine. If he wants to jump off of something and land on his back and fuck up his back, fine. But please, for the love of God, do not let somebody lift you over their head and fucking crack your skull on the apron or whatever the fuck that thing is to fucking cause permanent brain damage, please. I think we've all kind of accepted that Darby Allin's post-wrestling career is not going to fucking be fun. I think we can all agree on that. But, and trust me, this is coming from a guy who just said he wants Tommaso Ciampa and Chris Jericho to beat each other bloody. What I don't want to see is Tommaso Ciampa pick up a steel pipe, lift it up above his head, and crack Chris Jericho on the back of the head with extreme force and cause blunt force trauma. That's not what I want to see. So yeah, Darby Allin, you can continue to do crazy shit, but please, for the love of God, spare us watching you go to the sky on live television. All right, guys, that's it. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to us. It'll help us out the algorithm. I'm MFGDs. You know the name, you know the game. It's the Crimson Mass Show, and I'll check you out next time.